back to Irish Strength Training. So today we're going to be looking at how to do your log press. So log press is one of the most famous strongman moves, and you will pretty much see it in any competition. Before we get into the actual move, just one thing to give yourself the best chance with the log press is to warm up fully. I have a video on all of my stretches for the overhead pressing moves. So do that before you start doing your log press. It will give you the best chance at hitting those big numbers, and it will also protect you from injury. So I'm going to break the move down into simple segments, and I'm going to give you some tips on equipment and training techniques at the end. So we're starting with the setup. You're going to want to bring your feet shoulder width or a slight bit more. The next thing you want to do is make sure that the log is at a 45-degree angle away from you. You're going to take your grip like so, and you're going to squeeze as hard as you can. So the next step is to lap the log. So I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together, take a big breath and lift. Then down onto my knees, and I'm resting it there. I'm keeping those elbows nice and high, and the next step we're going on to is the clean. So you'll see my hips are nice and low. I'm going to pull that log right into my chest as much as I can, engage my upper back, and then roll it up. So you'll see while I'm doing that I'm using my back to pull that log into my chest. I'm not trying to roll it up with my biceps, it's the back that's doing all of the work. Also, as I come up out of that lapped position, I'm driving forward with my hips, and that is giving me the power and momentum to roll it up my chest. So we'll go through that one more time. So you'll see, once I've racked it up onto the chest, I'm keeping those elbows nice and high, and I'm not letting them get pulled down. By keeping those elbows nice and high, you're keeping that log up on the chest rather than the arms having to hold it. If you try and hold this with your arms, you're not going to have the power to push that overhead. Keep in mind all the way through here, once you've lapped it, you're keeping that back locked in all the way through until you've pressed over the head. If you lose that lock, you lose an awful lot of power and you will lose your position. So keep the back locked in. So the next part we're looking at is our leg drive. Some people will just rely on bending the knees to get power. We also want you using the hips, okay? So the glutes create an awful lot of power, and we really want to harness that during this move. So when you have the log in the rack position, you're going to bend the hips back slightly, drive the knees outwards, and then drive up. We drive the knees outwards because then we've got our centre of balance still in the same line. If we bring them forward, suddenly our body isn't in a straight line and there's weakness. So always remember, hips back very slightly, knees outwards, and then drive up. And we're going to go through all of that now. Now through that, you'll see that I'm pressing straight overhead. I am not allowing those arms to come out in front, which will put me off balance and chances are ruin my lift. The other thing I'm doing is allowing the head to follow through. If you do a log press and you do this position, that is not a good lift. They will not give that to you. You always need to bring the head forward. So as you're pushing up, you'll push that head forward, which will bring those traps in and will help you finish the lift. So a couple of extra little tips for you on when you're doing this move. Use something with a hard sole. So you want the like of squatting shoes or something like that, or even Converse, so that you don't have any bounce and it's not putting you off balance. It's very similar to your squat. You don't want to wear something with a real cushioned sole that's going to make you unbalanced. The next thing is, when you're going a little bit heavier, you're trying to go a little bit faster with this move, I would wear your wrist wraps, okay? Because when you're doing it, it's very easy to catch your bone on the side of the log, especially on these metal logs, and trust me, it's not going to be nice. So this will obviously give you a little bit more support in the wrists, which is important for all of your pressing moves, but it will also protect it from a couple of knocks and bangs that will sort of ruin your pressing training session. And lastly, you've got your elbow sleeves. Now a lot of people, as soon as they go into gym to do any pressing training, they will throw these on and start to train. That's fine if you want to do that. However, I would say Try and avoid using them as much as possible so that when you're doing those big lifts, you can put these on and you get that extra little bit, a layer of support. If you have an injury in the elbow, then by all means wear these all the time, protect yourself as much as possible. However, you don't need them. Leave the support until you're really pushing yourself to the limit. Now, with regards to when to train this or how to train it, my own personal training, I will do this twice a week. I will do a high rep day where I'm doing sets of 10, and I'll do 3 sets of 10. If I'm able to do 3 sets of 10 and I'm not struggling on that last set, I will go up in the weight the next week. So you're always trying to jump up in the weight. If you do 2 sets of 10 and then you're only able to get 8 on the last set, you will stay at that weight for the next week as well. Then on the second training session of the week, I will be going heavy. So I will try to do 3 sets of anywhere from 2 reps to 5 reps. So this is where you're really working on that upper end, you're really working on that power. So this is sort of anywhere from 85% of your 1 rep max up to 95 or even 100 if you're feeling really good, but usually within the 85 to 95 range. So a very important last tip for you is when you're starting off with this move, do the full movement from the ground up to overhead every rep, because you want to train your body in how this should be done. Now when you get to the stage where the press is the hard part, the clean, the weight is very easy to do, that's when you move on to just bringing it up once and then pressing overhead the whole time. But when you're starting off, the clean is just as important as that press, so train the full movement. So that's it, guys. I hope you really liked this video. I hope you found it super helpful. Please, genuinely, comment down below. Let me know how you're getting on with this. It'll be very, very interesting. And let me know if your technique is slightly different. Everyone has their own little things that make it easier for them. So just drop a comment down below and let me know what yours are. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.